Hello everyone, I am Jishan Seth, Assistant Professor in IT/ICT Department of LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. So, from this video tutorial, we will start a new topic that is all about MongoDB and Node.js. So, if you are not aware about the MongoDB, then it is a NoSQL database. So, till that we learn the basic concept of Node.js, how Node.js is working in the basic desktop application, and how can we make a simple web application using HTTP request and response using Express framework. Now, we are moving to the database portion. So how your Node.js is connect with your particular database. So if we are talking about database connectivity with any programming language, then why it is so important? Because in the real world, if you are talking about the any application, that application are connected with some database. For example, if you are working with some profile, that profile saves that data onto the database. It might be that database at locally available, or it is available at server, or it might be available at the cloud server. Okay, so we have to basic understanding how that particular data is stored. So when we are talking about uh, basics of your programming with the database, in somewhere you are storing your database in some variable. It is also okay. You are telling that if integer a is equal to 5 in C, so you are storing that value in one database. Okay, that database constraint is a variable. But what is the problem here? When you are closing your application, all that data are lost because it flushed into the memory. You also store the database at the files. It is also valid. Okay, and if you are talking about the RDBMS, then your data is stored in some structured manner. Okay, so you already aware about the basic RDBMS concept. So here, what is MongoDB and how it is useful in our particular programming language with Node.js. So Node.js is basically one platform where our applications are running. So here we are using the Express.js as a web framework for implementing our web application in Node.js environment. So MongoDB is nowadays very useful because it is not following traditional RDBMS structure. Okay, so in RDBMS, what happened? We are creating tables. Okay, that tables having some structure. So basically, we are creating schema first, and then we are storing the database. Okay, so here in if we are talking about the MongoDB, it follows the structure of NoSQL. So here we are not creating any table in the format of row and column. Here everything is uh, assume like one collection. Okay, so in the traditional way, we are not storing the data. The world of object oriented programming is following here throughout the whole the structure. So if we are talking about the anything as an object, so if in the database, if you are following this, then NoSQL is a best way to use. It gives a proper structure, it gives the basic environment, it provides the many facilities to access whole database very quickly. Okay, so let's start today's topic with some basic concepts. So if we are talking about these basic application with Node.js, we required Node.js as a runtime environment, Express.js is our web framework, MongoDB, that is our database, okay, that follows the NoSQL database. And yes, we are using the REST API concept. Okay, so what is REST API? So when user requests from its browser, okay, we are talking about the here web application, not the console application, and it is not a complete web application. We are not using the GUI here right now. Okay, we are just using Node Express that uses the basic concept where the data is going from server to client. Okay, so when the user is requesting for some data item from client to server, at that time it uses which request. For example, user is submitting the data, so you know already when the data is going from client to server, that will be considered as a post. If server is requesting for server is giving the response to the user, it is a get method. If user wants to change something, at that time you are using put or patch method. So there is a minor difference between put and patch. So if we are talking about the put, so what the put method is exactly doing here? Put method is changing all the content okay, of the database for of a particular row. Okay, for example, your row having first name, last name, mobile number, three columns are available. Okay, three attributes are there. So if you are updating anything at the database using put, so all the attributes are changed, updates. But if you want to change specific, okay, attribute, then we go with a patch method. So both working of put and patch is slightly different, but purpose is very clear to update something. And the last one is all about the delete. So we are following the CRUD operation with the help of our REST API. Okay, and for watching our data, we already see in seen in the previous video. We can see the URL bar in with if we are using the get method with the query string. But when user is sending the data, we cannot see in our URL bar. So with the help of Postman, we can manage. So Postman is we are using in this program that will help us to trace all our get, post, or if we are using put or patch or delete all the methods. Okay, so let's move to the our next topic, that is our MongoDB. So if we are talking about the MongoDB, so MongoDB is a document database. Okay. It means it stores data in a JSON format like a documents. So if you are new to the JSON, it's don't worry about that. It's a very simple format. If you are aware about the normal XML format, it is a slight different from that. Okay, in traditional RDBMS, what happened, we are storing all the data in rows and columns. Here not we are not storing like that. So we believe this is a most natural way to think about the data, and it is more expressive than powerful than our traditional row column models. So if you want to go with this website, okay, mongodb.com, okay, so you are getting another things, okay, mongodb.com, okay. So for doing the program, first you have to go through this particular website mongodb.com. Okay, next you have to install that MongoDB server. Okay, so first you have to install your MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB will give you a platform in which you can install your data, or we can say that create your database. Okay, so you can see here, if we are doing with MongoDB, it will the site is available. In the software phase there are a number of options are available: community server, enterprise server, development tools. So before that, if we are talking about the specific MongoDB Compass, okay, so what is MongoDB Compass? So MongoDB is providing one GUI format in which you can see your whole data. Okay, what the database you are created, what are the attributes are available, that will be in the form of your JSON, but you can see in the GUI format. Otherwise, what happens generally if you are using the console prompt, okay, so that console display all this data only on the console. You can't see in the GUI or software on the software properly. Okay, so that MongoDB Compass is available. So you have to install first your MongoDB, okay, that I already installed. Okay, you can then open MongoDB Compass. I am just opening. Let's try to start that. Okay, so meanwhile we are moving ahead. Then it is you have to check about that. Okay, already what you are installing, that is perfectly run on your machine or not. Okay, so for that, if you want to use MongoDB globally, then you have to save the environment path. Okay, so for that you have to use your environment variable of your MongoDB. So here in the your when you are installing your MongoDB, okay, then in the program files, whatever the path you are choosing during the installation of MongoDB, okay, you are getting here MongoDB, the MongoDB server 4.4 version NB. You have to take this path, okay, and you have to store in runtime environment, okay, in the your system environment variables. Okay, so globally you are setting the values of environment variable of Java you are already stored. Okay, so in particular path you have to store. Here I already add already edit this. Okay, you can see a C program files, MongoDB server 4.1 and Bean. So up to Bean, if you are not finding here, you have to just click new and just copy paste here. Okay, so you have to do that first after installing the MongoDB. Otherwise, you are not getting all this data globally. Every time you have to manually set this. Okay, so if I am talking about the MongoDB Compass here, okay, it is already open. Okay, you can see here it is the MongoDB Compass. Okay, I already installed that. You have to just click on the particular site and download that. Okay, so here you can check here, connect to, disconnect, view. Okay, help is also available. You have to connect your database first here, whatever you already created, otherwise it is not displayed. By default it will give the installation on the 27017 port number. Okay, so if you are installing the MongoDB successfully, it will give a basic path on the port number 27017. If you are successfully completed this installation, you can also check that here. Okay, if you are entering here, you will get something. Localhost, sorry, we are not doing perfectly here. Okay, we have to use not MongoDB, localhost 27017. Only this. Okay, okay, so it looks like you are trying to access MongoDB server over HTTP on native port. If you are not finding that, that means you are not successfully installed MongoDB on your server. So till now I am just explaining what is basic of MongoDB. Okay, also you can see in detailed description. Okay, detailed description is also available here, why we are using that. Okay, on the sites. Okay, so let's move to the our next portion, that is all about the Mongoose. Okay, so sir, you are telling that MongoDB is there, but what is the Mongoose here? Why we are using in our particular program? Okay, so Mongoose provides one specific a path. That path is give us to connect your node application with MongoDB. Okay, so Mongoose provides a straightforward schema-based solution for your modular application. It includes built-in time casting, validation, queries, business logic, everything you need. Okay, if you want to work with MongoDB, then you need some specific bunch of one model. That model is provide this type of support, and that is provided by Mongoose. So for that, official website is available. You can see here I am entering mongoosejs.com. Okay, so when you are entering, you are getting this particular. Okay, so you can see the Mongoose is provide straightforward particular based solution for building your application. Here it also gives specific line how can you connect your database. Okay, if you are using the Express.js node, and if you want to connect with MongoDB, what are the steps for that? All the steps are available here in detail. Okay, how can we install that? What are the basic steps to connect your Express.js with your MongoDB? All these steps are available in docs. Okay, so now moving to the next one. Okay, so this is the basic steps we have to perform to connect your Mongoose here. Okay, so first we have to use Mongoose here. So for that you have to use require Mongoose, and then you have to use basically two methods here. One is connect. Okay, that connect method having first parameter, it is your URL, and next parameters are optional, that will be used for user parsing thing, then unified topology and other things that will be used for some functions are deprecated, still you are using, if warnings are there. So for that purpose another optional part will be used here. And then we are using one method, on method. Okay, that will generally give different option. For example, you are open your database connection. Okay, you are closing your database connection. Okay, if you are generated error at that time, which particular thing you have to display, all that thing you can enter here when you are using the on method. So this is all about the theoretical portion. Okay, so meanwhile we are just understanding what are the basic things we require, that is our Node.js as a runtime environment. Okay, then you have to use MongoDB. For that you have to install MongoDB from the website. But during the installation, you have to think about you have to remember that during installation one checkbox is there for Compass. Okay, MongoDB Compass. You have to click on that. Otherwise, you can't see GUI portion. Okay, what I already shown you. Okay, here during the explanation. So you have to tick your checkbox for MongoDB Compass. Okay, then we have then I explain what is the Mongoose. Okay, how it is useful to us. Now if we are talking about the implementation portion, so yes, we are using the Visual Code here. Okay, so in Visual Code you have to use basic install basic three things before going to implement. First you have to import your npm. Okay, so you have to install npm, then you have to create your JSON file, okay, using npm init. That is a basic thing. After that you have to install your npm package, then then you have to include your express.js package, because in Node.js you have to import first that for creating web application. So for that we are using npm install express. Then we have to use two things: MongoDB database. Okay, so we have to create one platform for also that. So npm install MongoDB is there, and the last you have to use the whole application to connect your MongoDB with your Express.js, that is Mongoose. For that you have to use npm install mongoose. Okay, so you have to use this. So let's move to the development phase, and I'm opening my code. Okay. So you can see here in my package.json file, I'm already created this application. Here my application name is current demo. Okay, I will explain whole application step by step. Okay, so before going to any view of your coding portion, we are visiting and our package.json file. Okay, so here you can see the dependency. Okay, first is Express, so you have to use npm install Express. Then for MongoDB you have to use npm install MongoDB, and for Mongoose you have to use npm install Mongoose. So before programming you have to test this. Okay, next, if you have to check your MongoDB is working or not. Okay, I'm entering MongoDB. Okay, so you can see I'm getting this. If you are not getting this, then you have to set the environment path in your Windows. Okay, see program files and up to bin and set into the environment variables. Okay, and if it is still it is not showing here, then close your Visual Studio, run again, check from this particular you have to choose CMD. Okay, in CMD you have to enter that particular, and then you have to test again MongoDB, then you can see here. So this is the basic introduction part of your particular parts of MongoDB and database. In the next video I will explain how the HUD, MongoDB database and Node.js can connect with the help of programming. Thank you for watching this video.